Welcome to our live stream. It's been a long day, and a day that I'm sure we'll be talking about for years to come. I'm mdenhartog, and today we're going to talk about the M30, the M30T, that new docking station, the H20N, and the new FlightHub 2.0. But we're going to break these down into individual videos because it's taken us at least 4 hours to complete the training. And with this aircraft, we have a lot of information to absorb. Let's start with the price up front because everybody keeps asking that. Then we'll play the promo video that most of you have probably already seen. And then we'll go over the specifications from the DJI website and talk about those in case you haven't had a chance to look at them yet. Then we'll follow that up by the questions and answers that you guys have been asking about all day long. I've been taking notes all day, and we will get all your questions answered. And first, we're going to jump in and say that Florida Drone Supply has available a pre-order for the M30, M30T, the H20N, and the drone docking station. And the pre-orders require a $0 down payment. So you can go ahead and put your name on that list now and then pay later. It's not a problem whatsoever. Just go to floridadronesupply.com and search for the product you desire. The M30T is $13,999. The M30 is only $9,999, which if you ask me, this is very reasonable since the original H20T and the H20 were similar in price by themselves, not counting the aircraft. The H20N for the M300 is $12,999 and has some amazing specs by itself. We'll do a whole video dedicated to that. And the M30 with the docking station as a package is $29,999, and the M30T package with the dock is $33,999. So let's deep dive into the M30 and the M30T. Roll that video for me, guys.
In the face of adversity, what drives you to push forward? Courage, experience, absolute trust in all that supports you. Meet the new generation of enterprise drones, the Matrice 30 series. 16 times optical zoom camera, thermal camera, wide camera, and a laser rangefinder, the M30 is the new standard for hybrid payloads. Powered by DJI's latest flight controllers, image transmission, and image processing technology for next-level performance. 6-way sensing and positioning offers protection and ensures safe flight. A new generation of quad antenna image transmission ensures signal stability, even in complex environments. With its 200 times hybrid zoom camera, you can focus from afar and capture the precise shots you need. And its high-resolution thermal camera efficiently reveals heat sources. When night falls, the M30 is ready. Its low-light FPV camera sees your surroundings even in darkness, so you can work safely. And Smart Low-Light Photo captures clear pictures even at night. All of this power is still compact and portable. It fits in your backpack to go where you go, ready to unpack and deploy in seconds. Hot swap batteries to keep you flying, even under torrential rain, treacherous slopes, scorching heat, gale force winds, or freezing cold. The M30 is designed to endure. The new DJI RC Plus controller is designed for enterprise pilots. It's waterproof and resistant to extreme temperatures. With quad antenna video transmission, 4G, battery hot swapping, and 65-watt fast charging, you can power through until the work is done. Pilot 2, with a reimagined user interface for a revolutionary flight control experience. Introducing DJI FlightHub 2, a complete ground-to-cloud drone operations platform. 2.5D base map and one-tap panorama sync gives you rapid situational awareness, and RGB or infrared cloud mapping gives you high-resolution orthomosaics, so you can proceed with safety and assurance. With live annotations, draw points, draw routes, or divide work areas, and quickly synchronize information across remote controllers, computers, and mobile devices for true ground-to-cloud coordination. For the remote places on Earth, For roads less traveled, we present to you DJI Dock. Built for round-the-clock automatic and repeatable drone flights, wherever you need it. Highly compact and integrated for easy installation, setup and configure in just 30 minutes. Core components are modular and easy to maintain. The M30 dock version upon landing can recharge and take off in just 25 minutes. With an operating radius of 7 kilometers, DJI Dock can cover a wide range of repetitive inspection and monitoring tasks across a variety of scenarios. Plan and perform remote missions through the DJI Flight Hub 2 cloud platform. The drone can take off, execute the assigned tasks, and automatically upload media files. Check on drones, docks, and mission status in real time from your web browser to officially manage your grid of docks and achieve a truly remote work experience. The world we live in is built upon your trust and hard work. The Matrice 30 series for an eye in the sky when you need it. DJI Flight Hub 2 for air-to-ground coordination. And the rugged, automatic DJI Dock to help you day and night. All of this is ready for you.
Okay, so now I'm over here at my computer, and there's a DJI website in the Matrice 30 series, and let's go over what the website has to say about it. Now here is a link here that you can watch that video that we just watched together. And then if I scroll on down, it shows you the camera here taken all apart. It's kind of nice because it does show you that you have your laser rangefinder here, you've got your zoom camera, you've got your regular wide angle camera, as well as your thermal camera. And then we go ahead and continue to scroll on down, and it kind of zooms out and it shows you what the aircraft looks like. It's got the RTK antennas on there, we can see. It's going to have the same type prop tips as the Mavic 3, obviously there. And it looks like these are folding props, you can see there in the picture. It is water IP rated. This bag is not an actual bag that comes with the aircraft, so this is a little bit negative in the fact that it shows the bag, but this bag is not actually purchasable from DJI. This is the RC here, as well as several batteries. They said it's just a third-party bag, and you can get those off the internet. They do have the docking station, as they're talking about here. And we'll scroll on down here and see what else they have as far as the actual specs. Now you can see on the left here is the M30, and we have the M30T on the right. We've got a full 41-minute flight time. Now, they advertised this with the M300, and unfortunately that was without sensor. This is with sensor, so that is a 41-minute flight time. We should probably expect 40 minutes or so. And it has a 15 meters per second wind resistance, which that's a really good wind, 7,000 meter service ceiling, and a max speed of 23 meters per second. You can go on down here. Now it does have a nice wide range of a minus 20°C to 50 degrees Celsius. So it has a very broad temperature spectrum there. And like it says right here, is IP55 rated, both the remote and the aircraft. So you don't have to worry about the remote control getting wet when the aircraft's out and flying. And it has vision sensors on all sides, very similar to the M300. As you can see there in that video, I'll replay that video. You can see how the sensors are virtually the same as they are on the M300. And of course it has redundant systems. It also has the ability to do the spiral land if you lose one motor, so it will fly on 3 motors. We have a new transmission system with the OcuSync 3. They're saying, I think that it said as far as 15 kilometers. That's going to be pretty extreme. It have to be not in a metropolitan area. It's going to be in a rural area, obviously, to get that. But they're saying that you can get that. You can see there. Here's probably one of the first pictures where I see where it actually shows you the size. So you can see one person picking that up. and holding that controller. I'll hit replay on that again so you can really see there. They're picking that up, and they got a good control of that with one. Now you can also see on the back of the aircraft, it doesn't talk much about it from time to time, but I'll see if I can zoom in and click right, well, it's hard to see. I'm trying to show you the battery connector right there, and I can't pause this. But they have a little clip now on the battery where you can actually lock the batteries individually. Unlike the M300 where you had to unlock it and then take one battery out and then hope the other battery didn't come out while you were doing that because it unlocked both at the same time. On this model, you unlock the left battery, you replace it, you unlock the right battery, you replace it. They both positively click in, and it has a little arm there that pops into place so you can see that the battery is set. Basically, we have the M300 series integrates the wide zoom, and then the M30T has the thermal cameras, and they both have the laser rangefinder. It talks about the wide angle camera here. Here is the equivalent focal length of 24 millimeter. It is a 12 megapixel half CMOS sensor, and it can do 4K 30 frames per second. The zoom camera here is 48 megapixels half CMOS. It does have an optical zoom of 5 to 16x and a 200 max hybrid zoom. It has a photo resolution of 8K as well as being able to do 4K 30. Thermal imager here is a 640 thermal imager. I think it goes really fast. And it has a 40 millimeter focal length, and it can do 30 frames per second. Accuracy is plus or minus 2 and plus or minus 2%. And then our laser rangefinder is up to 1200 meters. So that's pretty good quality there. You can see here's the heads-up display, the same as the M300. And it has this new low light feature where you can take pictures in extremely low light conditions. Again, very similar to the M300. You've got your zoom, but this is a much smaller platform. If you're doing any kind of residential work, this will be a lot better than having that M300 out there, because the M300 can be a little bit intimidating to people, especially if they don't know and they don't recognize the aircraft. And then we have the new controller. I really think this new controller is going to be really something pretty cool. This is also compatible with the M300, I'm told. You cannot mix and match, so if you have to have two of these or two of the old controllers on the M300, you can't have one of the old style, one of the new style. It doesn't work that way. But this is backwards compatible with the M300. Buttons on the left side here and the right side, as well as you've got your buttons up here on the right and left, which is kind of nice. And then you've got removable antennas. The removable antennas to me is a great thing. That gives us the ability to have third-party companies pop out and give us antenna boosters. We can get external antennas on our vehicles. I was just recently at an event where we should have absolutely been able to use the M300, but I was getting signal loss issues. And I really wish we could have had an antenna that we could have extended higher than the vehicle, but unfortunately we could not. So I had to switch over and use the all-tile aircraft. And again, it's built for the commercial drone pilots. Like I said earlier, it has the IP55 and IP54 protection. The controller's 54, aircraft's 55. And we have the new DJI Pilot 2. Unfortunately, I do not think that's going to be able to do perpendicular flights for solar panels, but I don't know for sure. I asked that question, and I got kind of an unusual answer, but didn't really answer the question. So hopefully we can find out in the next few weeks what's different and what all the features are on it. I'm going to go ahead and download the Pilot 2 for the M300 and get to flying on that with that and do some practice flights. And basically, other than that, a lot of this is going to be the same over and over again between the two aircraft. It does have some better pre-flight checklist stuff in here, and alert notifications. I think it'll be a little bit better. And our navigation display, I like the way the display is a little bit better, and I think it's going to be a little cleaner for our operations. And then we have Flight Hub 2. They talked about that today, which you can actually download till October of 2022 and do a free trial of that. You can also do this ground-to-cloud synergy where you can actually get some mapping while you go and get some real-time mapping missions out there, which is kind of neat with the Flight Hub software. And mission live streaming, you can do live stream via that. You can do annotations, all kinds of cool stuff on that. And that pretty much does it for the computer. Let's go ahead and let's talk about your frequently asked questions. Let's go over those. I'm going to go ahead and hit pause here. I'm going to switch back over to the studio, and we're going to go through your questions and I'll look at the computer and see what questions we have at this time. All right, we got some of the questions already pre-canned up for the video here, and we're going to go through the Q&A that you guys have put in the chat. Now, go ahead and continue to ask questions. There are multiple chat streams coming in from different services because we're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and multiple rooms at the same time. So as we're trying to monitor those, we will go through and try to put them all up. We may miss a few, but we will get those answered in post if we have to. Will the new M30 utilize DJI FlySafe? The answer is yes. It will be utilizing the same DJI FlySafe 2.0 that we have learned to love from the M300. Is the aircraft to replace the M300? No, the M30 series is a fill-in between the M300 and the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced. As you can see here on the chart, the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced is on one end of the spectrum, then we have the Phantom 4 RTK, then we have the M30, then we have the Matrice 300 RTK system with all of its different payloads. The M300 that we have learned to love so much is definitely going to be here for a long time. The M30 sensors are also non-removable. They are also not changeable. One person has already asked if the camera could be swapped out, and the answer is a straight up no. I'm also told that the M30 and the M30T dockable aircraft are in fact different aircraft as well. While our M300 is a very versatile platform and has multiple sensors, the payload options are endless. The payload options for the M30, on the other hand, are going to be limited in some cases. It is going to be designed specifically for its purpose-built application. Thus, the M300 will remain the workhorse, while the M30 series is a niche market aircraft that will excel in that market. Can the M30 and M30T be used for mapping? This could be done. However, the location data is not absolute, and it is definitely not a replacement for the P1, just as the H20 and H20T cameras were not recommended for mapping. The M30 does not have time sync and does not have the mechanical shutter. The Phantom 4 RTK and the M300 P1 are still the best options available for photogrammetry. Is the M30T a thermal radiometric camera, and can it be used with FLIR tools? Well, yes and no. It is a radiometric camera, however, it is not compatible with FLIR tools, as that is proprietary software. It is compatible with the DJI's thermal software available at DJI.com, but not the FLIR tools, that is, it is not a FLIR sensor. Can we really expect 40 plus minutes of flight time? And the answer is absolutely yes. As the 41-minute flight time was calculated with the sensor fully operational, unlike the original counts for the M300, which was recorded with no sensor at all. The aircraft can also handle winds of 15 meters per second, which translates to 33 miles per hour, with a max speed of 23 meters per second, which translates to what I believe is a new DJI record for photo drones at 51 miles per hour. And while we're at it, the service ceiling is 7,000 meters, which is equivalent to flight level 230, or 23,000 feet. So unless you're trying to go over K2 at 28,000 feet, you're good. And if you are, well, stick to the M300. It'll take care of K2 for you. All right. And what did we lose from the H20 or H20T? We had one person say, hey, all these great things are coming and it's cheaper and blah, blah, blah. So what did we lose? Well, really, you didn't lose much. And the H20 does have a higher resolution wide camera at 20 megapixels and a higher optical zoom. But you don't lose any of the AI smart shots, tracking, or other features. And in fact, they added one option called Smart Low Light, which will help you adjust the camera when shooting the dark side of an object against a bright background, such as trying to hit those insulators against the bright sun. We have also covered the camera, but I will repeat the individual specifications on it. The laser has a 1,200 meter range. Both cameras are half-inch CMOS sensors capable of 4K 30 frames per second video. The zoom camera is not a stitched but a true 48 megapixel still camera, and the wide angle camera is 12 megapixel still camera. The zoom camera has a 5x to 16x optical zoom and a 200x digital hybrid zoom between the two cameras. The thermal is a 640 radiometric camera at 30 hertz with a 40 millimeter focal length. We also have some information coming along with a new feature they have where they can actually digitally double that resolution as well. One more addition to the M30 camera is that the lenses are heated, so you don't have to worry about fogging on the lens when transitioning from one temperature to another. And we talked about the low light algorithms, but they also added an AI-based thermal that I was talking about a second ago. And this is an image enhancement, making that 640 camera appear to be more like a 1280 by 1080. Does the aircraft come with a hard case or backpack? You'll see the backpack in a lot of the images. However, the backpack is not a DJI product. It is a product that is made by a third-party vendor, and you can get those at any third-party photography store. It does come with the hard case. The aircraft does weigh in at only 8.2 pounds and is approximately 15 by 9 by 8 inches when it's folded up with a locking gimbal, so that way you don't have to worry about that gimbal getting damaged in transport. This is definitely the flagship performance aircraft, and as you can see here, here's that backpack here where they have the batteries, and it's probably not logical for you to have an odd number of batteries, but hey, it looks great in the picture. What is the deployment time? Well, the deployment time is less than a minute, we are told, and that is easily obtainable with the self-locking arms and no payload calibration on boot up. So basically, you turn that aircraft on, it's going to get its GPS lock, you pop those arms out, set it down, and it does not have to go through the payload calibration, which is going to make that boot up time extremely quick. If you're familiar with the aircraft and you don't have to worry about all that pre-flight, then you can get that aircraft in the air extremely fast. Next question is, what is IP55 and IP54 rating really mean? Well, the remote is IP54 and the aircraft is IP55. After a quick wiki search, we've got the answer. And the words IP stands for egress protection. The next digit is for the solid or dust egress. And the last digit is the liquid egress. The dust protection is 5 for both. The liquid resistance for the remote is a 4 and 5 for the aircraft. IP5 for the dust means the ingress of dust is not entirely prevented, but it must not enter in a specific quantity to interfere with the safe operation of the equipment. Okay? For 4, liquid means water splashing against the enclosure from any direction shall have no harmful effects utilizing either an oscillating fixture or a spray nozzle without a shield. And then 5, water projected by a nozzle against the enclosure for any direction shall have no harmful effects. So basically, the 5 means that you can spray it directly with a small water blast, and the other one says that it cannot have mist and so forth on it. So that's pretty good IP rating if you ask me. Not only is both the remote and the aircraft weather resistance, the operating temperature range has also been expanded, now reaching a minus 20 Celsius or a minus 4 Fahrenheit on the bottom end to a 50 degrees Celsius or 122 degrees Fahrenheit on the top end. The one thing you won't see me doing is flying the aircraft at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. 122 is a little bit hot for me, or minus 4. Sorry, I won't say that I'll be testing those anytime soon. What's the range of the new transmitter? They have introduced a new 4 antenna design and have an advertised range of up to 9.3 miles in ideal conditions. Again, this is ideal conditions, so that's unfortunately probably never going to happen in the real world, but we will obviously be maintaining visual line of sight at all times, but in those situations where you need to go to a tactical beyond visual line of sight, it's good to know that the aircraft is capable and can exceed visual line of sight if necessary. Plus, the new RC Pro has removable antennas, which could be retrofitted with third-party amplifiers or high-gain antennas to use in your command center. As you can see here in the picture, here is some of those antenna placements. They've added additional antennas, and they're going to have 2 transmitting and 4 receiving antennas with 2 times the media download speeds. So that'll also help with getting the high resolution image back to your controller. Is the RC Pro Plus compatible with the M300? The answer is yes. The new RC Pro Plus is awesome, and it's going to be compatible for the M300 as well. For starters, this new remote has a total of 8 additional buttons and a third wheel. It does have the HDMI output, but sorry, no SDI for our guys down in Texas that wanted to know. It has a 6-hour battery life and a 7-inch screen that is 1200 nits. It is currently not compatible with the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced, but like I said, it is compatible with the M300 for backwards compatibility. And as you can see in this picture, it has all these additional buttons, and with the new application, you can see the buttons are actually labeled down in the bottom left and right there. So you don't have to guess what those buttons are. I know that when I change controllers from one to another, sometimes they've got the 5 functions set up differently, the C1, C2, in this case it actually is a C3 as well. You don't have to worry about not knowing what those buttons are because it's actually on the screen for you. How much are the TB30 batteries? Well, we don't know yet. At this time, we do not have pricing on the batteries, but we should know soon. The batteries are rated for 400 cycles, they are self-heating and self-discharging, and just like the M300 BS60, the BS30 will charge one set of batteries at a time. But you cannot transport the TB30 batteries in the BS30 case. You'll have to pack those separately. One after-sales change is that the new TB30 batteries will have a 12-month warranty. This is great. However, the total battery storage days over 90% cannot exceed 120 days, which can be checked via the new Pilot app. So if you store your batteries for an extended period of time, over 90% charge, it is going to damage your batteries. And they say if you have 120 days, then it will void the warranty. All right, in an effort to keep this short, we're going to stick to the aircraft and not talk about the Flight Hub or Pilot 2 software here. But I think I've covered all the questions we received earlier today and yesterday. Let's go over some questions from the chat. I'm going to check the screen here, and we are streaming on multiple platforms, like I said, so we're going to have to check. All right, next question here. When is the M30 going to become available? Well, the M30 and M30T, we are told, will be available late April, but with the current delays in the environment, I think we can realistically expect a few units to become available in late April to mid-May, and to fill those pre-orders, which you can get at floridronesupply.com right now. Then we're going to get a second batch probably in June, and we can expect them to become readily available by mid-summer. I'd say July, August, they'll become readily available. But I'm sure that there's going to be a whole bunch of people that will come out and want those right away, and that will make the first sets pretty scarce. We are told the docking station packages will be available near the end of the year in the fourth quarter. Okay, what else do we have here? All right, is the LTE function available in the United States? At this time, the LTE function is not available in any country. However, it may become available in specific markets in the future, we are told. All right, the 48 megapixel zoom camera, is it a true 48 megapixels, or is it stitched image from a 12 megapixel camera? Well, we've already talked about that a little bit, but we will elaborate. It is a true 48 megapixel. The camera uses a quad Bayer sensor and is 48 megapixel camera. We are told that the resolution of the thermal camera will be 1280 by 1080 regardless of the image displayed. So the question here is, the photo resolution of the thermal camera, will it be a full resolution or will it be what is displayed on the screen? Like I said, it is going to be that super resolution of 1280 by 1080 regardless of the image displayed. Okay, will the raw thermal data be available? Yes, thermal images will have been saved as RJPEGs, and they'll be supporting the thermal SDK. All thermal data, as well as the location, will be saved to the image for processing in third-party applications. Will the M30 have POI or some of the flight modes from the Mavic series? We are told that possibly with Pilot 2 we will inherit all the features and modes from Pilot 1, and there is talk about adding some of the additional flight modes such as POI, which I think is a definite thing that we need. That way you can set something on POI and have it orbit a scene, and that way you don't have to actually hold the aircraft there or just maintain one position. But we'll know more as the Pilot 2 is expanded, and we'll talk about that in the Pilot 2 applications page. All right, Will the M30 series connect to the DRTK2, or is it in-trip only? A lot of people were really disappointed that the Mavic 2 Enterprise Advanced was in-trip only, and the M300 is capable of doing both. And the M30 series is full RTK supported aircraft and will work with that DRTK2 station. We are also told the docking station will have a base station built into it as well, so that way you can get that RTK accuracy. It is also in-trip compatible. All right, and I think that concludes all the questions I have for you guys right now. In an effort to keep it short, we're going to go ahead and conclude and wrap up. And I hope this has been informative. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is mdenhartog at Florida Drone Supply. Put that up on the screen here for you. You can also call us at 855-8-DRONES. Be happy to answer any of your questions. Again, my name is Mike. Ask for me, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions to the best of my ability. If I can't answer your question, I will find the answer for you and get back to you. That is my promise to you, because the only way I can learn is by you asking me more questions. Thank you, God bless, and have a wonderful day.